It is still Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television, and we're delighted that you are staying tuned to Tea or Coffee. Now, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms at High Impact TV, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. It's about that time where you get to learn one or two about our topic for today, and Balade is going to be doing the honors of introducing our guest.
All right, so today's conversation is on essence of blood donation. I remember I was saying that we're going to give you the lowdown of what happened over the weekend and how we spent our weekend. It was for a notable cause, and we're super excited to have our guests come on the show to talk about it. And here we have Joshua Okoduwa. He is the founder of Restructure Africa, and he's here to talk about some essence of blood donation. And also Adesua Osazua. She is a lead volunteer in Restructure Africa. Thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yes. Okay, so before we started the show, we're having a conversation. I met you guys on Saturday where we had Love and Pint, the blood drive, and it's a fantastic thing. But first off, I need to find out, how did this all start for you? I know you told me a story about it, but I want you to say that story again so everybody can learn from it.
Okay, thank you so much for having us on this show.
Thank you for joining us.
And Love and Pints was inspired by a personal story in 2013. My mom had a major fibroid surgery at Ifako General Hospital. And the consultant that was on her case, she ran out of blood. And at that time, we needed somebody to actually donate, so she could get blood. And at that time, there was no blood available at the hospital. So it was somebody who donated to actually save the life of my mom. And way back in 2017, there's been like serious calls about, serious call for blood on social media and Twitter and all of that. So, we as a team thought that, we have youth power. Since we're a youth-led organization, we have youth power. So why can't we, come up with something that, we really get a lot of youth involved in imbibing the culture of voluntary blood donation. So that was how Love and Pints generally came about.
From you now, before we were able to donate blood at the events, we went through a series of processes. So I'd like you to talk to us about it.
Okay, so because of the whole process of blood donation, it's very important that people are tested. Like, you don't want somebody who is underweight or somebody who is on a period, who is already losing blood, coming to donate an extra pint of blood. Or you also don't want somebody who has high blood pressure to donate. So all those tests are very necessary. So you don't have somebody coming and then they're donating and then they now end up needing the blood. So, people having attacks and all that. So, you have to check your height, your weight, check your BMI to know if you're underweight, because someone that's underweight shouldn't donate blood. Then also your blood pressure to also check, just rule out high blood pressure there. And funny enough, you have some people that never knew that they had high blood pressure. Because some people they don't check it always. So having there to come there and they're like, oh, my blood pressure is this. Okay, that means it's high for today. So what is it? That means I should check it. Then also your PCV to know your blood level. Yeah, your blood levels. So because some people might be anemic. Sorry if I use medical terms, but they might not have like a lot of blood. Yes, so all those tests are very important.
Are there other things like negative effects or things that could go wrong in the process of blood transfusion?
Oh yes, there are a lot of things that could go wrong during blood transfusion. Another thing is the test. Well, testing is very important. So you don't want to give, there's something called resource factor. That is when you say, I'm O negative, I'm O positive, and all that. So you don't want to give somebody who is O negative, O positive blood. Because the person will now start developing antibodies against the blood. Then you would also want, apart from the infection screen and all that, there are other transfusion. Some people can have allergies and all that. And then you don't also want to transfuse a lot of blood into some people. Okay, the person just needs 2 pints, and then you are transferring 4 pints of blood, 6 pints of blood. There can be an overload. So cardiac, and respiratory and all that. So the whole process of blood transfusion is a carefully monitored process. So it has to be followed up with doctors. As this blood bank has done their part now, So now it's now to the patient, maybe probably in the ER, that's the emergency room, or in the theater. So it's a carefully monitored process. So as transfusing the blood, they're monitoring the patient's vitals to see, okay, blood pressure is okay, heart rate is okay, all this is okay. Is there any reaction to the patient's blood? So all these things are carefully monitored to avoid blood transfusion problems, yes.
Okay. Now, generally, you know, we've talked about people that cannot donate blood. But how about who are the people that can donate blood? It's very important that we know. So you know that you are at the right age. Do we have age restrictions? Do we have, basically age restrictions? Like, who are the legible donors? Let me ask Joshua. Who are the legible donors of blood?
For you to be eligible to donate, you must be between the ages of 18 to 65. Okay. So if you are younger than 18, you might not be allowed to donate. It might, for some, they might allow. And because your average weight that is eligible for donation is 50. So if you are 49 kg, you are not eligible to donate. Though many a times, a lot of people think that they are fit. Yeah, and these measures were set by the World Health Organization as basic standards for donating blood. And this is just to avoid complications after donating. You know, you can find 16-year-olds that might be very big, they can be very tall and all of that. But sometimes you realize that after, you don't judge these things by physical appearance. You don't think because there are people that are very small, right? And they look, it looks like they don't have a lot of blood in them, but, you know, they're actually legible and they're actually fit, you know, to donate. So it is not judged by your physical appearance. You have to be medically fit to actually donate. And many a times too, like Adesua has rightly said earlier, you must not be close to your period or must be on your period, right? You mustn't have had tattoos for less than like 6 months. Right, exactly. So, and of course, you mustn't have alcohol in your blood. You mustn't have smoked and all of that. So, you just have to ensure that you are healthy enough to actually give blood. You can't go and party, you know, the night before and you're saying, oh, I mean, come help. No, nobody is going to give you. And of course, you mustn't have high blood pressure, right? A lot of people are hypertensive, but they don't exactly know. It is when you're face to face with, you know, the medical personnel that says, okay, can I check your blood pressure? That's when they realize that they are hypertensive. So generally, you just have to be medically fit, but the normal standard is you must be between the ages of 18 to 65, and at the same time, too, you must weigh above 50 kg to be able to donate blood.
That's interesting, because I didn't know that. The part that actually really got me is the alcohol level, the smoking, the partying, and the tattoos.
Yes,
because a lot of why though? I'd like to know why is there a limitation for tattoos? Does that affect anything?
So, for instance, it would take about 6 months or thereabouts to actually find out if you are HIV positive, and many a times, you know, because of the sterilization procedures, many a times it is not advisable for you to have undergone a tattoo and, I mean, you're willing to give blood. So you need to be checked over time. So sometimes they will say 6 months, sometimes they will say a year. Because if you want to check out for certain complications after that sterilization process has been done, you can easily find out, you know, that, okay, this person is HIV-free, this person is not this person is not HIV-free, and all of that. So that's why, I mean, anything that has to do with piercing and all of that, they try as much as possible to avoid, you know, things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you prepare ahead in cases of emergency where people donate blood and then they're fainting and issues arise and occur? So how do you prepare ahead for that?
How do you prepare ahead? Okay, so we know that these things will happen. Okay. There'll be people that will come and donate, and then afterwards they feel very weak and they're like, oh, my head is, I feel very dizzy, I'm turning, like, it feels like everything is spinning and all that. So most times we always advise people to just sit down and rest. Okay. So on that day, there were 2 rest stations. Or some people just be like, oh, I'm fine, I'm okay, and then they want to run around and play. So we always advise people. So that's why we made provisions for rest. Okay. So after donating, you go rest, and most times they give you like refreshments, maybe kind of malt to help you so that you drink and then you are calm and everything settles because you just finished drawing out fluid from you, like a pint of blood. So you actually need to rest and, you know, relax first of all. Then in cases where we now have maybe serious complications, then you might just probably have to like maybe transfuse you back, not like blood, maybe like fluids, but then that would like have to get to like a high level, like you person must have been, you get. So most times we just advise you, sit down, chill, eat, give you maybe snacks, light snacks, malt. So just sit down, relax, chill, like rest, so that, you know, after working and you now start feeling dizzy and you might not be in a place where you might not get help. So most times, so after blood donation, sit down, rest. Even on the bed, they'll tell you, okay, lie down, rest. Drink water, let everything flow, let your body settle well. Then, so prevention, we provided a rest station so people can rest, and there were no major complications.
Then also to add to that, the blood banks usually come with an ambulance, which is standard. So in case there are situations that cannot be handled on site, I mean, the ambulance is just ready to move the patient to the nearest primary healthcare center or anywhere else that the person can get immediate attention that cannot be handled directly on spot.
Interesting. That's very good. Okay, so I want to ask this one because it has always been on my mind, and I've always wanted to ask, but I forgot to ask on Saturday, so I'm going to ask you now. So before we were allowed to donate blood, they would ask you, have you eaten? And then you say, no, I haven't eaten. Then they sit you down, then they give you a can of malt or something. What is it with malt? Because I used to think it was a myth, really, where you mix malt and milk or you drink malt and it gives you surplus blood or gives you energy. What's it with it, really? Okay,
so malt is preferred over soda and all that. Well, it is believed that I've not researched this to know if but then they said it helps with blood generation. That is hemoglobin and all that. So it is preferred over Coke, Fanta, and all that because, well, malt is healthier. It's like it contains more products that are healthier than just ordinary soda. Because soda is just carbonated water, sugar. So malt helps with the blood. So that's why most times they'll give you malt until relax. So drink the malt, rest for a while. So at least, because if you've not eaten, you'll be weak, right? Then you're not going to remove blood. You'll be weaker. So eat something, rest, so that at least you gain some energy, and then when they take that out, you will not be so tired. At least you'll be able to carry yourself and walk and all that. Yes. Very important.
Okay, so another one pops in. Okay. So I was asked this question if I was breastfeeding. Okay. Why? Does that affect anything? Let me ask Joshua. Does it affect anything? If you're breastfeeding, you cannot donate blood, or you've explained the one where you're on your period, you cannot donate blood. So does this mean that losing any sort of fluid from your body can affect you donating blood?
It depends on how much your child might consume, right? Okay. I mean, if you are eating, let's say you're breastfeeding, you're eating for 2 people. Right? And if you're eating for 2 people, it means that you must take in a lot of fluid. You must ensure that you're healthy. And, I mean, just imagine that you just finished donating and your child is in need of immediate help, right? You might not be in the best position to actually, like, donate, to actually take care of your child. So many a times, anything that decreases the fluid in your body, it is usually advised that you stay away. So that's why I find out that people who just finish immediately playing soccer, they're sweating. I mean, you can't just say, oh, I want to donate. Nobody's going to pay attention to
that happened to me. I was dancing and they asked me to sit and then donate. Okay.
Exactly. So anything that affects the state of your, the fluidity of, your body, you would not be advised to take, you would not be advised to actually donate. Just like someone being on a period, you're dealing with fluid. Right, it means that fluid is going to come out of you. I can't take more fluid out of you if some fluid is already coming out, of you. So you just have to ensure that, the only thing that I'm giving throughout today is this blood, so that your body has more than enough time to rest, and it actually has more than enough time to actually reproduce the blood that has been taken away.
In situation after collecting this blood, do you do some sort of follow-up to make sure that it's being used for the purpose of collating this blood in the first place? Because I've heard different ideas and different situations like, oh, after collecting this blood, they still end up selling it or telling people to bring some amount of money to get this blood out of the bank. So do you follow up, or what exactly happens?
We're working strictly with the hospitals, and we have like a written MOU that states how we want this blood to be used. So we're working with the maternity wards, we're working with the accident and emergency ward and all of that. So there are certain cards that will be given at the doctor level. So we are not even dealing with the blood banks at this point. We've signed our MOU, but these cards will be given at the doctor level. So every patient in your ward that needs blood gets that card, and they can take that card to the blood bank to say, okay, Restructure Africa has donated Restructure Africa has a pint of blood in your bank, and I am a recipient of this card, meaning that I have access to that blood and all of that. So it gives us an opportunity to actually monitor the process so that we are sure that, people are not giving their maybe family members or whatsoever the cards that are supposed to give them access to get the blood. Because truth be told is, you have to show, the patient has to show that it is needed. You have to have proof. And the blood bank is not going to attend to you if you do not have proof to show that you are actually in need of this blood. Yeah.
So it's a carefully monitored process. So as transfusing the blood, they're monitoring the patient's vitals to see, okay, blood pressure is okay, heart rate is okay,